Hey you guys, so today I want to get back to the topic of how to get your material to record label A&R. It's a question that I have people ask me about a lot. I've talked about it in other videos. I want to focus on some of those ideas that I've talked about, maybe get into them in a little more detail. And so here we go. So take me I guess one of the running themes of much of what I talk about in videos has to do with sort of a do-it-yourself music career. The idea that probably in the early stages of your career, there are not a lot of people that you can rely on to sort of help build your career. People that you can hire on with or sign up with, like managers, attorneys, publishers, things like that. With that in mind, many people that are creating music out there want to know how to get their songs to A&R. First of all, your ability to create a relationship with record label A&R has everything to do with your material. If you reach out to record label A&R and you send something that is just subpar, that's you've ended that opportunity. They'll never want to hear from you again. And so your material needs to be great. And if you're not sure that your material is great, you need to be playing it not just for friends and family, but people that really can give you an unbiased opinion before you start sending it out to record label A&R. Another thing that is powerful to have to your advantage before you start sending material to A&R is if you've got anything that you've accomplished by way of songs. It doesn't have to be that you've placed a song with an artist, but if you have songs that are placed with artists, even if they're artists that are independent, but they're doing something out there, they're playing shows, they've got a good following, if they're selling the music, any of that kind of stuff is great to be able to include in a small sort of blurb in your email when you do reach out to A&R. If you've got songs that are placed in film, television, and I've talked in other videos about how you can look for those kind of opportunities as well. But anything you can brag about in one line is worth putting into your email to an A&R person. And I'll talk about how to approach that here in a minute. So having said all that, let's talk about how you approach A&R. All right, so the first thing I want to do is get online, and I want to talk about searching for A&R. Searching out individuals that you might want to contact and send your music to. So there are a couple of things that can be useful to you when you're trying to figure out who the A&R individuals are that you might want to reach out to. One of them is a magazine called Music Connection. It's a trade magazine here in Los Angeles, and they publish every few months lists of various industry professionals. And over the course of a year, they'll always do one current listing of record label A&R. Now, before you get excited about that, it's not an in-depth listing by any means. The other thing you need to be able to do online is find the A&R personnel that you are trying to target. Let's say, for instance, you have a song that you feel like would be perfect for Pink. Well, who A&R'd the Pink records? How do you figure that out? So I want to talk about that for a few minutes. So first of all, let's talk about Music Connection so you can get to the A&R listing. So if we go to Music Connection, well, look at this. Right off the bat, it says newsletter sign up. That's what you want first of all. Subscribe. That's where you're going to see these listings come in. Once you subscribe with them, you'll get their email blast. And just to look down this list here, Guide to Digital Resources, Everything Indie. Here's the directory of A&R right here. The last one I received was December. So here you have all these contacts, music attorneys, producers, engineers. Right up here at the top, they have the directory of A&R reps. Let's just take a look at a major label of some sort. So Atlantic Records, they actually have Maureen Kinney. You get a ton of information from just looking at this. First of all, you know that their email is at atlanticrecords.com. That's correct. The way they set up their email over there is first name, period, last name. That is the most common way that you'll see emails set up in the industry is first name dot last name. And you actually get, from this listing, you get two names. You get Maureen Kinney and Molly Lehman. Here's another one. This is the guy in New York, Pete Gambarg. He's been around for a long time. Pete works on a lot of big records. So these may not end up being the individuals that you want to target for your specific song, but if you have an artist that is signed to Atlantic Records, at least you know now exactly how they set up their email, and now the key is to figure out who is the A&R person that worked on the artist that you're interested in pitching to. And by the way, that's a big deal if I haven't made that clear. It may seem like a great idea just to send your great song to every A&R person that's out there. But A&R people are very focused on the individual projects they're working on right now, and they may only have one or two projects that they're completely focused on. It's best to try to target the A&R people that are specific to the project. All right, so I'm going to show you something quickly that's important. Look over here, you've got Epic Records. Now, Epic is a part of Sony Music, but you don't see any email, so you're thinking to yourself, okay, is it epicrecords.com? Is it sony.com? Well, remember, there's a number of labels under the Sony umbrella, so search around, see if you can find one of the other ones. And in this case, you can look right over here to Columbia Records, New York. Columbia is also under the Sony label. And in this case, they do give us their email at sonymusic.com. So that is the likely email that they're using across the board for all the Sony Music labels. So if you wanted to hit Joey up, you'd do the same thing. First name, last name, sonymusic.com. So let's talk about the next step, figuring out who the specific A&R person is for the artist that you're trying to pitch to. You know, if the artist that you're interested in pitching for had a record that came out in the last 6 months, they may not be looking for music right now for that artist. The record has come out, they're working singles, the artist is on tour probably. It's not a key time for them to be looking for music. The truth is that what you really are trying to do is target the A&R people that are looking right now for that artist. All right, let's look at a website called AllMusic.com. So this website is pretty cool in that it does give album credits. All right, so let's say I have a song that I think is perfect for an artist like Zara Larsson. Let's try her. All right, so start with discography. Let's see what her latest record was. So good. It was released in 2017. So she's probably about to release a record. It may be a little late to get on her current record. You click on the album. You can see some basic information here, songwriters, things like that, under the track listing. But what you're really looking for is credits. And I'm going to be honest that you're not going to find all the detail on every artist, unfortunately, but many of them you will. For instance, with Zara here, I'm seeing a number of A&R. Chris Anacuti, great guy. Chris doesn't work for a specific label, I don't think, anymore. He was at Motown for a while. His major moment probably was at Capitol when he A&R'd the first album for Katy Perry. If you try to send to Chris Anacuti, you've got to find it. You're going to have to go dig for an email because he's probably got his own private company. All right, so we have several A&R. Tina Banasad down here, Dahlia Glickman. There's Olivia Hessel. All right, so let's see what the record company is. So go to releases on this particular album, and you'll see that it was done under Epic. As we saw with Epic and Columbia that are all under Sony, their email is sonymusic.com. All right, here is Dahlia Glickman. Let's try her. All right, this is a person that's done a lot of albums. So she's been around a while. She's working with numerous artists. You'll see a lot of cool artists here on this list. So let's make sure that Dahlia Glickman is actually with Sony Music somehow. That's a pretty unique name. Let's just pull her up and see what we get. Dahlia Glickman, Senior Director, A&R Administration, Epic Records. So she is the target. So right now I know that if I want to send a song to for Zara Larsson, the contact that is for sure solid is dahlia.glickman@sonyrecords.com. Once you have that information, you're ready to send your song. So let me run through a couple of basic rules about sending an email to Dahlia Glickman. Obviously, I already covered a couple of really important ones. you must only send your best material. You send Dahlia Glickman a crap song for Zara Larsson, and she will never want to hear from you again. She'll probably block your email if she sees it twice. So you're not going to get her attention more than one time without sending something great. When you send a song to your A&R person, you never send a file. Imagine an A&R person's email box filled up with MP3s. What they need are links. So create a SoundCloud account, send a link to the A&R person. When you first approach the A&R person, you want to send a request. In the subject line, you might want to say, song for Zara Larsson, something like that. And you might just say, hi, Dahlia, my name is such and such, and I have a song that I feel is perfect for Zara Larsson. Can I send it to you? This is where, if you have any kind of credits, you might want to say, thanks very much, your name, and your contact information, of course. Leave a telephone number. But under that, if you've got independent artists you've worked with, list them. Anything that you've placed in film and television, list it. Keep it short and simple. Give them just the information they need. Your song hopefully won't just work for Zara Larsson. Hopefully you can pick out a ton of artists that you might think this would be great for, and you go through the same process and you try to send your song out to 10, 15, 20 people. And if you have 4 or 5 songs and you do that 10 times, and you've got 40 emails out to different A&R people that you've researched like this, then you've got a chance at getting a few back, because you're not going to get a response from all of these people. All right, so I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about, but if I missed something that you would like to ask a question about, please include it in the comments below. And if you found what I said here today useful, please like, please subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future videos. All right, take care. Have a great day, and until next time.